Hi, welcome. My name is Chrissy, and in this video I'm going to be giving you a channel reading from the 15th of November to the 21st of November. Now, I do channel readings. I just let my guides come flowing through and I give the messages to you. So if you've tapped on this video, I'm guessing there's a message for you, so stay watching to the end and I will just close my eyes and we'll get started. Well, the message is really clear. It's the storm in a teacup. So basically what it's showing me is the pouring of the teapot. So it's kind of like the energy is flowing out. So if you can imagine a teapot pouring and all your old emotions, your hurts, your angst, this is a week to really start to deal with your past emotions. Now, when I think of a teacup, I kind of think of the tea ceremony, like in a lot of Asian countries like Japan, and there's a lot of spiritual energy, and it's very well respected when you have a tea ceremony. It has a real feeling of exchanging energy, and it's about talking and discussing and having that beautiful conversation. So really the message about the teapot is about getting together and having contact with other people and talking out our problems, our hurts. Sometimes when we talk about things, it can really help us to heal. So this could be for men that you go to the pub and you have a beer with some of your mates. It might be for women you go and have a coffee with someone. You might just have literally a beautiful cup of tea and share that great experience, because this is about really bringing yourself into that moment too. So when they are sipping on the tea, it's what you can smell. It's about sensing what's happening around you, and that is why it is such a beautiful spiritual experience, and that's why the teapot in this is so significant, because it is a great way of healing, is to start to address your emotions. And I am suggesting that the message here is to do that through communicating with other people, whether it be family, friends. So on the week of the 15th of November, that's what I would definitely be doing. I would be making contact with people, and I would be getting together and starting to talk. And it doesn't mean you have to go down the emotional road straight away. You might find you might just open up and things will just come sort of pouring out of you, like the teapot showing. So you sort of will start to manage and heal some of these past hurts and emotions. So that's definitely something to focus on in the month of November. It might be that you even go out and buy yourself a beautiful new teapot. You know, these are things that sometimes we think about buying and purchasing, but we never actually do. So go and get yourself a beautiful teapot and get the loose leaf tea and create these experiences as well, because this is how you start to heal. You start to bring yourself into those now moments, and that's why tea's often used for that, because it brings you into that now. You have the aroma of the tea, you're just relaxing, you can sit outside in nature like I'm doing here, and that is definitely the message for the week of the 15th. Behave and be real. So it's saying, yes, we're all trying to behave and we're following the rules. There seems to be a lot of rules coming out on the 15th. And we're having to abide by these rules. These are not something that we have control of. So we're trying to behave. It's almost like we're school children that have been put into the sort of dunce corner and we're having to do as we're told. Now, people are trying to break free from that. I feel like this week, this is a week where we're needing to find our voices. So if you're wanting to be heard, you have to be heard in an assertive way. Now, this could be around work, it could be around work colleagues, it could be just about life in general. I know here in Australia there's been a lot of marches going on around things that are obviously that you're all aware of that have been happening in our country. So this week is about finding your voice, because it is your voice that can get things out of your body. When we suppress our thoughts and our fears and some of these energies that we can kind of keep jammed up and suppressed inside, that's very unhealthy, and it can start to affect us, and we can get these ailments in our bodies, and you know, headaches, sore backs, all sorts of things. So this week is definitely about finding your voice rather, and being heard. I'm getting the visual of like climbing a tree. So what they're saying to me is like, this is about getting into those childlike states. So this week, you've got to actually start to see things from a child's perspective. So it's like when you climb a tree, like I'm just thinking about this apple tree behind me, my daughter is always climbing in it. Just imagine yourself sort of climbing into that tree and the freedom that they must feel. So when they're up above, people can't even see them in the tree. It's almost like you're hiding, but you're also observing. So the visual that they're giving me is to sort of pretend that you're climbing a tree, and this is putting yourself into that sort of higher mind and higher realm and start to look down at things. It's saying not to just jump in and get involved in every situation that arises. You've kind of got to start to look at things from a higher perspective, and I think that's the visual of the tree, is to actually focus on seeing things from a different perspective. Because sometimes when we're being fed things and we've got things happening in our immediate sort of space and in our home, work, wherever it is, we're not seeing things from a really good viewpoint because we can get caught up in things. So this week it's going to be about climbing that tree and having that higher viewpoint and looking down on things in a really realistic way. Because what they're also saying is that you can have two people sort of in the same space, but they have two completely different experiences. So I can see something completely different to what somebody else has experienced and seen. So if you're looking from above, you've got a much clearer view. So you've got to kind of, I guess it's kind of like rising above and seeing things for the truth of what they really are. And that can be in any area of your life. I think you'll relate to this if you'll kind of connect. If this message is for you, you'll understand what I'm saying about seeing things from that childlike mind as well, because children see things from a very simplified way. Their life isn't so complicated like us as adults. We overthink everything, whereas children kind of are much better at living in that now moment and seeing things in a very, very clear and simplified way. So that's how you have to start to look at things this week. And it's saying to be really real. So it's saying not to really get caught up with your image this week. Sometimes it's easy to just kind of get caught up and say, oh, I just want to get a new car and I want a nice house and I'm just sick of everything. And you can get really caught up with the direction and your status and your image. And it's saying this isn't the week to get caught up with that, because like it said, you've got to see things from above. So you've kind of got to see things in a simplified way. So if I get that new car, if I get that new house, I could go into more debt. And then what if interest rates go up? So there's a lot of pros and cons that you've got to also weigh up in this week of November. It's very easy to just sort of put our mind onto things and think, oh, I just want that. But you've also got to look at the consequences. So I think this week is not a week to make those decisions. I think you have to actually start to give things more of the pros and cons, like I said, and weigh things up. You know, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen and that you can't create those things a little bit further down the track, but I just don't think this week's the week of doing that. I think it's just giving me that message that you have to really weigh things up more, whether that means you get a car that's not as expensive or you actually stay in your house a little bit longer and you do a bit of renovating. It's sort of that kind of message, like, don't just do things because you're frustrated and you're just making like a snap decision. Weigh up the pros and cons this week, and I think that's the real message this week of November the 15th, is just to really get things into a good perspective, because if you don't weigh things up, sometimes it can cost you more in the long run, especially if you borrow a whole heap of money and then you find that the housing market drops, or like cars always depreciate. So these are kind of things that you have to think about, and so that's just a bit of food for thought on the week of the 15th of November. So look, I hope this helped you today. They're just some messages coming through from my guides to you. Hit those like buttons. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that would be great. I would love that. Leave me some comments. I'm doing a weekly read now, and I also do monthly, and I have got a 2022 prediction reading if you'd like to go and check that out as well. And like I said in my other videos, I have got self-help videos as well on depression, feeling suicidal, so many videos around attraction, body language. Go and check some of those out. I'm sure they can help you, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.